Welcome to From Beyond, where we dive deep into some really fascinating stuff. Today, we're going to be looking at extraterrestrial life and the Law of One.
Yeah, we'll be focusing on sessions 7 and 8 from The Raw Contact, Teaching the Law of One, Volume 1.
This book is full of mind-blowing ideas, isn't it? It talks about the structure of the universe.
The balance between service to others and service to self.
Right, and also the influence of both benevolent and malevolent extraterrestrial groups. It's pretty wild.
It is.
One of the things that really stood out to me was this concept of the law of squares. The text says 352,000 entities are calling on Ra.
Right.
And that this is like magnified to a collective calling of 632 million through this law. So can you kind of break that down for us a little?
Sure. The law of squares shows how powerful unified intention is. It's not like each call just adds to the total. It's more like it compounds. Think of it like a ripple effect. 2 calls create a force 4 times stronger than 1 call.
Okay.
And so on. So you can imagine how powerful this can be on a universal scale.
So what you're saying is that even our small individual actions can really have an impact.
Absolutely. Even little acts of service and love can cause a shift in consciousness.
Wow, that's powerful. So if millions are calling upon Ra, and Ra is dedicated to service to others, why aren't we seeing more direct intervention from the Confederation?
Well, that's where Earth's mixed polarity comes into play. We have both service to others and service to self orientations here. It makes for a very complex, energetic environment.
So it makes it hard for the Confederation to just step in.
Exactly.
It's like they want to help, but they have to respect our free will.
Right. The law of one is all about free will. They
Yeah.
can't just come in and fix all our problems. We have to choose our own path.
So we're in this really unique position where our choices affect not just our own planet, but also the Confederation's ability to help us. Kind of scary, but also exciting.
I agree.
So speaking of powerful forces, the book also talks about this Orion group, a group with a very different agenda than the Confederation.
Right. The Orion group is all about service to self. They want to control and manipulate, not uplift or empower.
Sounds kind of sinister. How do they go about doing that?
Well, they often work through existing power structures and belief systems, subtly influencing people and societies towards separation and control.
Oh, I see.
They prey on our fears and insecurities, trying to steer us away from unity and toward division.
That's scary. If they're as technologically advanced as the book suggests, why resort to these subtle tactics?
That's a good question. They might have advanced technology, but their inherent separation actually weakens them. True power comes from unity, and that's something the Orion group just doesn't seem to get.
So it's not just about gadgets and weapons.
Yeah.
It's about the consciousness behind them.
Exactly.
Unity amplifies power.
And separation diminishes it.
That's fascinating. I'm also curious about the Council of Saturn. They're mentioned in the book. What do they do?
Well, you can think of them as like cosmic gatekeepers. They decide who gets into the Confederation, they handle requests for aid, and they maintain a quarantine around Earth.
A quarantine. Why would Earth need be quarantined?
It's not about like a disease or anything. It's about respecting our free will. It's a barrier that prevents the Confederation from intervening, even if they see us making bad choices.
So even though all these people are calling on Ra for help, the Confederation can't directly intervene because of this quarantine.
That's right. It's the general rule, but there are exceptions. Ra mentions these windows or distortions in space-time, which can create temporary openings in the quarantine.
So that would explain like those weird UFO sightings?
Exactly, like the Pascagoula incident, where those 2 men were supposedly abducted.
So even with this quarantine, there are moments when the veil lifts and we get these glimpses of something bigger.
Right.
It makes you wonder what else is out there. But before we go down that rabbit hole, let's talk about something a little more down to earth. The book claims that Earth's governments, specifically the United States, possess these advanced spacecraft.
Right. And this is where things get really interesting. The implications of this are huge.
Yeah, the source material says there are 573 of these craft, just in the U.S., each one 23 feet across.
Whoa.
They're powered by electromagnetic energy, and they can reach speeds up to half the speed of light.
That's insane. What's really unsettling is that they're weaponized. If this technology actually exists, why are they keeping it secret? And why use it for something so destructive?
Well, that's a question that gets to the heart of where humanity is right now. This technology could do so much good. Clean energy, better transportation, maybe even interstellar travel.
It's mind-blowing.
It is, but instead of using it for good, they're hiding it, hoarding it, weaponizing it.
It shows how fear and the desire for control can corrupt even the most advanced technologies. We have the means to solve so many of our problems, so why choose this path of secrecy and destruction?
I think it goes back to those control systems we talked about.
Yeah.
And the influence of groups like the Orion group. They want to maintain the status quo, keep power in the hands of a few. It's a disturbing thought. If we have the potential to create a world of abundance and harmony, why are we holding on to these systems that cause scarcity and conflict?
It's a complex issue with roots that run deep. But awareness is the first step. Once we understand what's happening, we can start making different choices.
So what can we do? How do we break free from these systems and create a better future?
It starts with recognizing that we have a choice. Every decision we make matters, no matter how small. It all contributes to the energy of the planet.
So choose love over fear,
Compassion over judgment.
unity over separation.
Exactly. The power isn't in some advanced technology or secret knowledge. It's in our collective consciousness. And the more we align with service to others, the more we shift that consciousness in a positive direction.
That brings us back to this idea of the harvest, this shift to a new density of consciousness. It's not something that just happens to us. We're actively shaping it.
Right. It's a choice point for humanity. Do we cling to these old systems of control and separation? Or do we embrace the potential for unity, love, and collective evolution?
That's a big question. But before we get too philosophical, let's go back to those advanced technologies and the governments that supposedly have them. Reb mentions these underwater bases
Right.
and underground facilities, even bases on the moon. Are these real places? Or are they like symbols of something deeper?
I think it's important to remember that this information works on multiple levels. There may be physical bases and technologies, but they also represent the hidden forces at play in the world.
So it's not just about finding these secret bases or exposing some conspiracy. It's about recognizing these patterns of control and manipulation that are woven into our society.
Exactly. The real challenge isn't finding these hidden technologies. It's about dismantling the systems of thought and belief that allow for the secrecy and control.
So we need to confront the shadows within ourselves and our society and see how we contribute to these systems through our own choices.
You got it. The path to a better future isn't about fighting some external force. It's about transforming ourselves. The more awareness we cultivate, the more compassion we have, the more committed we are to service to others, the more we dismantle these systems of control.
That's a powerful message. But it makes me wonder, if these technologies are so advanced and beneficial, why haven't they been used to help humanity? Why all this suppression and secrecy?
It comes down to a conflict between two opposing forces.
Okay.
The desire for control and the impulse towards evolution. Those who want to hold on to power, they're afraid of the potential of these technologies.
They're afraid of change.
Right. Afraid of losing their control, afraid of the status quo being disrupted.
So it's not just greed or ambition.
It's a deeper fear of the unknown.
It keeps us trapped.
In these cycles of scarcity, conflict, control.
But it's a fear we can overcome through conscious choice and collective action.
Absolutely.
True progress requires more than just technology.
It requires a shift in consciousness.
A willingness to embrace the unknown.
And step into a new way of being.
This has been a fascinating deep dive.
It has.
From the law of squares to mixed polarity, to the Confederation and the Orion group.
We've covered a lot.
But the biggest takeaway for me is this. We're not just watching this cosmic drama unfold. We're a part of it. We have the power to choose our path and shape our destiny.
I agree.
Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the harvest. What does this transition to a new density of consciousness really mean for us?
Well, it's not really an event. It's more like a process, a gradual shift in consciousness, moving towards a higher vibration.
Yeah.
It's about aligning with love, unity, service to others.
So it's not like some people are going to get taken up to heaven and others left behind.
Exactly. It's more like a natural progression based on your choices and the overall vibe of the planet. Those who resonate with love and unity will naturally move to a higher density, while those stuck in fear and separation will stay in a lower density.
So like we're all on this journey of spiritual evolution. And the harvest is kind of like graduation.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. It's not about judgment. It's an opportunity to move up a level.
Okay, so what about all this advanced technology we've been talking about? The stuff that's supposedly being suppressed. Could it play a role in this harvest?
That's a great question.
If it has the potential to solve so many problems, like Ross says, why is it being withheld?
Yeah.
What does that tell us about what's really going on?
If it could alleviate suffering, provide clean energy, even expand our understanding of the universe, why wouldn't we use it?
Right.
It suggests that some groups are more interested in control than evolution.
It's almost like we're being held back on purpose.
It's possible. It highlights this tension between control and progress.
Between those who want to maintain the status quo and those who are pushing for positive change.
Exactly.
So what can we do as individuals? How do we navigate all this?
It starts with awareness, understanding the forces at play. Then you can start making more conscious choices.
Like choosing love over fear.
Seeking knowledge and truth.
Connecting with others who want to make a difference.
Right. We need to work together to create change.
It's a call to action. To realize that we have the power to create our reality.
Yes. Our choices matter. Our thoughts matter. Our actions matter. We're all contributing to the collective energy of the planet.
The harvest isn't something that just happens to us. We're shaping it.
I agree.
By choosing love, unity, and service to others, we can create a more harmonious transition.
For ourselves and for all of humanity.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. So much food for thought.
It has.
From the law of squares to the Confederation and the Orion group. It's mind-blowing.
I know.
But I think the most important thing we've learned is this. We're not just bystanders in this cosmic play. We're active participants. We have the power to choose our path and to create the future we want.
Well said.
It's a huge responsibility, but it's also incredibly empowering.
It is.
I want to thank you for joining us on this journey, and I encourage you to keep exploring these ideas, keep asking questions, keep seeking truth, and keep choosing love. Until next time.